stole $100 million worth of value for only $300. Hey, what's up? This is Dan. And I just want to do a quick talking point to share with you kind of some thoughts here that I'm thinking right now. And at the time of this recording, currently we have a business that does roughly about $2 million, $2 to $3 million a year within the first 2 years. And we're on pace to do a couple $1 million a year in the subsequent years to come. So very excited about that. But the reason why I'm sharing that with you, show you guys that what I'm talking about is true. And so right now I want to share with you kind of some ideas here that recently I was on this. I was scrolling online like normal people do, and then all of a sudden I saw a story that came up from Russell Brunson, and it was a story on Facebook, and he posted a story of this guy that had been seeing his ads for a while, and it said he's teaching us how he spends $150,000 a day on advertising. And I said, whoa, hold on. That was you call like a thumb stopper, right? It's like you're scrolling. Whoa, hold on. What did he say? What did he say there? And I had to like take a step back and say, okay, I've seen this guy. I know I know he's doing okay, but I didn't think he was doing that good. And so I realized that he was at this event or this particular event, and they were selling recordings to this event. And so I went to Russell Brunson's links and I looked for the event that's in question here. And I clicked on the link and I'm like, $300. Like, I'm just going to get like a link, like I'm just going to get a recording. But in my head, I said, if that $300 makes us any amount of money, and I'm going to spoil it here at the end, but if it makes us any amount of money, then it's worth the $300. Now, this could be 300, 3,000, 30,000, 300,000. It doesn't matter. The idea is still the same. So I said, okay, if I trade $300 for one tidbit of information that I could take and I could apply it to our business, it would make all the difference. And so I go and I invest in this particular thing. And I look for it, and for a week or so, they didn't want to send it to me. And I'm like, oh man, like I need the recording. Like we're running this business. We're spending a lot of money on ads. We're spending, at the time of this recording, we're spending like $50,000 to $60,000 on ads, which I thought it was a lot, but he's spending $150,000 a day. And I don't have any more knowledge about that. Maybe he spent it in one day and he claims that he spends it every single day. But nonetheless, if he put someone on stage, Russell Brunson, I'm on the assumption that at least there's some credibility behind it. He wouldn't just put someone up there that makes these outlandish claims that they can say, right? And so I eventually, a week later, I get access to it and I get these recordings, and I'm emailing these people every single day from ClickFunnels. I'm like, hey, I need the logins. I need this recording, this one video, I need it. And so they uploaded it about a week later after I started messaging them. And then I watched the video about 4 or 5 times. And one part in the video, he was saying about how he makes, he went from 0 to $1 million, and then million to 10 million, and then million to 100 million. And I was like, I looked at his entire process. Like he showed his process to be able to scale to 100 million. And I was like, well, that's our process. So what is he doing that we're not? Like, we're in the same industry. He's just spending probably like 100 times more than us, which means why he's almost 100 times bigger than us. And so I said, okay, this guy's not that much better than me. He's not that much smarter than me. Maybe he is. Maybe he has some insights, but he has something that I can learn from. And typically how normal people work is that they see a competitor and they're like, I'm going to take him down. I see a competitor and I say, what can I learn from him? Or someone that's better than me, someone that's further along in my journey, in the journey that I want, and whether that be in business, whether that be in my life. Like, for an example, sometimes in relationships, I go and find someone that has been together for 30 years with their wife and they're happily married, because I want to know what they're doing differently than everybody else that's been divorced, right? And so I've done this all through my life. And one of the things I did was I went and I was watching this video. I kept watching it. And I'm like, what am I missing here? And then he said one little snippet here. One little snippet in the video, he talks about this process to be able to, because we do, at the time of this recording, we do live webinars. And so I'm like, okay. And he said, well, there's a way that you can make it live, but you don't have to be there. And I said, whoa, hold on. We wait an entire week to make money. So you're telling me I can make money every single day and I don't have to be there? Or in this case, David runs the webinars, but he doesn't have to be there, and we don't have to wait for David, and we don't have to worry if David's energy is good or not. We can just run our best webinar against it. And I was like, you know what? I got to do this. I got to take action on the idea that I just got. I didn't wait any longer. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to put this to this, that. No, absolutely not. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And literally I told the team, I said, team, we're going to do this. And I need 7 days to be this. I need this to be done in 7 days because I need to test it as quick as possible. I need to know this information is going to work or not work as soon as possible. I need to get it out of my head. And so 2 lessons from there, I guess, is number 1, invest in yourself. Number 2, take action on what you learn immediately so that it anchors good or bad, or you get data. That's all that matters. Really, it's just data. Like, did I get good data or did I get bad data? And it doesn't matter to me. I'm indifferent to the outcome. That's probably lesson number 3, is be indifferent to the outcome, because the more you're invested in the outcome, the more you have a bias towards it working, meaning you're going to do whatever it takes to make it work so that you're not wrong. For me, I don't care if I'm wrong or right. As long as the outcome is right, I'm cool. And some people are too egotistical to get out of their own way to say, this thing is what works. Not me. I'm not so special. It's that the process works, right? And so that's what's beautiful about this, because at scale, you don't want things that are super special. I mean, you being the person that's super special, you want your business to be super special, but you don't want to have to be the one that runs it all, right? And so the more special you are, the more devaluing of the business it could be. So anyways, I do that, and we turned it around 7 days. And the time of this recording right here, yesterday we ran that automated live webinar. And the cool thing is that we mirrored the results, meaning our live webinar or our live training converted at 20% of people showing up to a $400 ticket, a $400 price point. But the point was this: we didn't have to have someone live there, like doing the pitch. We didn't have to worry about the energy going up or down or how good or bad you were. It was just what it was. So the beautiful thing is it converted at 20% at live, but then we did it again, automated, and it converted 19.4%. And I'm like, this is amazing. I would have settled for 15%. But the fact that it got at least the number we were at anchored in my head, hey, we can do this. We can continue to do this. And so at the time of this recording, I took that $100 million lesson from $300 of spending my own money to go learn this thing and then applying it instantly. And we only made like $1,800. But it doesn't matter about the number. It matters that the idea worked. And now what that means is this. This is how you interpret these ideas to determine whether or not it was good or bad. And this is me talking to my previous self. So I want to look back in 5 years or so, or 3 years, and say, what were you thinking then? So I'm like, okay, well, it takes us 7 days from the time we turn off one ad, which is like we do a webinar on Tuesdays at the time of this recording. So we did it on Tuesday, and then it takes us 7 days to wait till next Tuesday to do it again. And so we have to wait 7 days before we make money. In this case, if I run that webinar every single day, guess what that does? I could hypothetically, I can make a sale every single day, morning, noon, and night. I can run it 4 or 5 times a day if I wanted to. Now, am I doing that? Probably not, because here's another rationale. It takes us a whole entire week to get 100 people to show up, or 100, average about 85 to 100 people show up. So if I do it every day, that means I just split up the 100 between 7 days, which, it's kind of not that good. But here's the interesting part about that is that now I can turn around money faster. And this is very important, because that means that it doesn't take us 7 days to make money. It can take us today, which means I can be more aggressive on advertising, which means I can go back to the market and just spend more of that money I just made. So instead of 7 days to fill it up, and so if you think of it like a kind of a filling up a cup, So I'm filling up the cup faster, which means it's going to spill over quicker. And I'm just spilling that profit. We're not making any profit on this, by the way. I just take that bucket over here that's filling up faster now. I just spill it back over into the advertising, and this thing becomes like a machine. Like it just inflates the water, almost like I'm turning up the faucet little by little, like by little. It's little drips, and then it becomes like a flood rush of like just pouring on. And that's my target, right? My target isn't actually, um, it's not, it's not anything besides I want to increase ad spend and I want to stay profitable at that. So my mind goes to a different way. My mind right now currently goes to a different thought process because my goal is to spend $100,000 a day. So if my goal is to do that, then I have to get creative enough to say, how can I make money faster so that I can put more money back into the machine and then create profits quicker so that I'm essentially I can scale faster and help my team win better. And so really that comes from the idea of what's the goal, right? What's the goal? My goal is to increase ad spend because all the biggest businesses in the entire world all spend money on ads, like literally all of them. None of them don't. So if you want to be a true big business, you have to spend money on ads. Like you have to. There's just no way around it. There's no debate on it. I'm doing this organic video right now to help increase the ads if we ever run them, but it's not for the sake of, I know that this isn't going to scale. And I know it can't scale to the same degree that advertising could, meaning spending money on ads, because that's guaranteed. This, I shoot one video, it might work, might go viral, but then I shoot another video and it might go kaput. I have no guarantee on any of these things. But however, it builds up the brand or builds up the awareness, and it builds up also everybody coming here watching this video. It builds up the trust because they're like, okay, he must know what he's talking about because he's been talking about the same thing for a long time. And so when I do it like that, I'm like, okay, cool. I want to spend more money on ads. How do I do that? Okay, cool. I came up with that idea, but I didn't come up with it. I actually hijacked it, right? And then the second question came up is, okay, so how do I make more profit sooner? So I'll spend the next 2 or 3 minutes sharing my thought process on this so you guys can understand it. And I can look back and say, what did I do to make this happen? So currently at the time of this recording, we do a webinar, and that webinar registers people. And then we have 2 upsells. So we have a $57 upsell, meaning they can go buy something as soon as they register for free. They can go buy something for $57. Then they can go buy something for $100 or $97. And on that, we make about $5,000 a month just on that. So about $60,000 a year. But that's just to cover some of the ad cost, right? That's just to help cover some of the ad costs. And then after we sell them into we sell a 2-day event from that webinar, then we give them a trial to a software that we have. So the software here is the ultimate play because we're trying to build up the monthly recurring. So the goal is to have the monthly recurring just go like this and the big revenues go like this, but the monthly recurring just starts stacking and stacking and stacking. And so right now we're getting maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 5 trials a month. So meaning from person like, hey, I'm going to start a 14-day trial with your software to, to paying the first payment, we get about 10 people to do a trial. And then the first payment comes after 14 to 30 days, but about 33% of them come. So 3 out of 10 people start a trial and make their first payment if they don't buy the 2-day event. Okay. And so I said, okay, how do we speed this process up? How do we get, if the metric is 33% of people that start a trial, make their first payment of $297, well, how do I get more? Then the goal becomes, okay, how do I get more trials sooner without messing up my machine? And I had to make a decision here. And I told the team, hey, we're going to cut off our $60,000 a year thing. Like we're going to get rid of that $57 and $97 things. Yeah, they help. But guess what else could help? If we get, instead of from the landing page, when they opt into the webinar, what if instead of that, instead of giving them 57 or 97, what if we just give them a 14-day free trial right there immediately, and instead of them having to go through those loops to get to the same spot, right? Because ultimately, we only get a couple people. So that means if we get 100 leads per day and we get a 10% take rate, we'll have 10 new trials per day, which if you do that over a month, 30 days, right? Times 10, that's 300 trials. And at 33%, I'm not sure what that number is, probably like 90. That's 90 new customers. 90 people within 14 days will be paying $297. And that's in addition to the ticket sales we have and the back end sales we have. And so that is, my friends, is how I solved $100 million problem by creating 2 leverage points in the front end. Now, the second one hasn't been tested at the time of this recording. Maybe I'll do another recording to come back and say, hey, this is what happened. This is what changed. But hypothetically, all I'm thinking about is, okay, cool. So if I can use that little thank you page, that little page to make more money quicker, then I can get, again, back to the same goal of 100K per day on ad spend. If that's true, then what I can do is I can grab the I can grab the money that we're making from the 297 over 90 days. So I'll just do a calculation real quick. Let me just do a calculation. So I'll grab that money. I'll grab that, let's just say hypothetically. Now, I don't think that's true. 10% might be kind of high, maybe like 5%. But let's assume 90, right? Because 300 times 33%. So I'll do 300 times 0.33. It's about 100 people who start the trial who make their first payment in 14 days. So we'll do 99 times 297. So we get a monthly recurring. We build a $30,000 a month monthly recurring business on the back, meaning like this is just from we're trading the $57 and the $97 sales to trade up for $30,000 a month that compounds. So this 30,000 plus the next 30,000 next month, plus the next 30,000 next month, which is $100,000 a month, which is a $1 million run rate within 3 months if we keep this process, which means this. If I could spend $100,000 extra a month within 3 months, and right now we're spending $50,000, it's $150,000. So the flywheel continues and it becomes bigger and bigger and faster, and eventually to the point where that's my goal, is to get to 100K a day in ad spend. Now, I don't know if we'll get there, but these are my hypotheses to be able to get there, right? Because now I've shortened the sales cycle from webinar to first sale, which was 7 days from the webinar to the time that we do another webinar live. It takes 7 days for us to promote. Okay. And then from when we promote that webinar, we get, 10%, 15% of people to buy a 2-day ticket, which means we can do that 7 times faster now. Okay. Then from there, we have to wait another 30 to 14 days to see if people become a trial of our software, which is the ultimate play, because we want as much monthly recurring stacking as possible. And so if we take it, so now it's 7 days plus the additional 14 to 30 days. So it's another, whatever, let's just put it worst case scenario. It's another 37 days from that time, not to mention all the drop off in between. So I said, what if I could take this 30 days and make it now, make it today? That means we become 7 times faster in turnarounds for ticket sales, and we become 37 times faster in terms of making monthly recurring revenue. And so if you compound both of those, that's how you get a crazy return or a crazy speed to implementation from ads increase like that. That's how I'm hypothetically going to hit my goal of increasing ad spend. Is number 1, I turn around money faster. Number 2, I get our monthly recurring coming up quicker. Okay. And then number 3 is obviously I want to make sure that those trials stick. So if I could take that 33% to 50% over the next 3 months, then again, I double again. And if I can take people from 3 months staying with us to 6 months, then we double it. I mean, we triple again. And so that's the game we're playing. Like, how do we just make those little incremental shifts in what order to get the outcomes we want? So to end this video, if you like this content, if you like this idea, if you like the way that I think through thought processes for business and how we're going to scale this business, just like it, drop a comment here, anything you want. I want to know what y'all's thoughts are. See you guys in the next video.